Hahn's Peak is originally a mining camp.
Like many of Colorado's mountain towns, Hahn's Peak Village grew from dreams of great wealth.
In the early 1860s, a German immigrant named Joseph Hahn came and found gold on Willow Creek.
Hahn's Peak Village became the first settlement in what is now Routt County.
The first mining district was here, the first post office, and the town grew from that into the county seat.
Prosperity followed.
This had a fairly good gold mining here for about 20 or 30 years.
It's the oldest structure still standing.
Relics of the early days of Hahn's Peak have been preserved by the Hahn's Peak Historic Society.
It's good to see that we can save some of them so that they don't just deteriorate and people can actually go enjoy them.
The Wither Cabin, the old schoolhouse, and pole barn make up most of the oldest buildings in Hahn's Peak. But there's one more, one that sits high atop the village's namesake mountain.
People are attached to that this is Hahn's Peak Village and that is Hahn's Peak, and the lookout tower is part of it.
For more than 100 years, this fire lookout tower has looked down on the mountain community.
The Hahn's Peak Lookout was originally constructed somewhere between 1908 and 1912. It's part of a network of fire lookouts that would allow rangers to identify in a very precise way the location of any wildfires so that they could respond.
Building on top of this remote site proved challenging.
They built it with a pack string. Like, these guys lugged up concrete and used local rock and poor horses to bring all the materials up there.
The rustic building got a makeover in the 1930s, adding a roof over the upper platform. During World War II, the lookout towers took on additional importance: national security.
The people who were manning the fire lookout also were keeping an eye out for aerial incursions.
While no enemy planes were ever sighted over Colorado skies, the wild blue yonder would ultimately doom the network of fire towers.
There was more of a reliance on using airplanes to identify forest fires rather than manning the fire lookouts.
60 years unused, atop a 10,000-foot peak. Not exactly ideal conditions.
So a combination of weathering and lightning have really deteriorated the structure. Most recently, we found evidence that people were setting fires on the inside.
These fires sparked a renewed interest in stabilizing the tower. Last summer, volunteers from Historic Corps shored up the building. Jim HICKS was among them.
It was pretty unstable. It was going back and forth like this. So the idea was to replace those beams and strengthen the structure so it wouldn't get blown away.
That just keeps it standing a little longer. It needs a whole lot more, and those close to the tower say it deserves it.
It's considered part of sort of our cultural heritage for the people who live in this area.
It's not just protecting monumental things for monumental people in monumental places. We're protecting the small actions of people.